It's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over the top rope and then you bang your head on the ring apron. Don't do that. That's when you feel like a big dope, and they're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring, the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you reach out for the hot tag, and you go ahead and make your own comeback. Knock it off. That's when you should quit wrestling, and you're better off rolling in thumbtacks. AEW, the hardest part of the ring, the hardest part of the ring. Now double claps. Let's go, Bob Squad. I can't hear you at home. Scream for me, Cleveland. The hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Whoa, Nelly, what's going on, Bob Squad? How are you, crazy cats, you wild savages, you rabid dogs, you screaming Vikings, you filthy barbarians, frothing at the mouth, drool dribbling down your chin, stacked on one another like hermit crabs crawling out of a bucket. You're goddamn champions. Oh my goodness. What are we talking about today? We're going to talk about NXT, the June 1st Hulu edition, not limited enough commercial interruption of Hulu edition, $7.99 a month. Limited commercial interruption, Hulu, it's TV in the palm of your hands. Today's podcast is brought to you, of course, by Diet Dr. Pepper. Diet Dr. Pepper tastes just like regular Dr. Pepper. Go to Coca-Cola.com/Dr. Pepper, enter the promo code Bob. Nothing happens. They don't know I'm talking about Diet Dr. Pepper. They do not sponsor this. They should. It's very tasty, though. I'd like them to. I'm going to talk about the WWE releases. Tell you what's on my brain. Just a little bit. Give you the skinny. But before we jump into the NXT Hulu edition, I got vaccinated about 2.5 hours ago. And I feel perfectly fine, so everything should be good. I think that's it. I think it's a 2.5. The lady didn't get my joke. God damn it. They tell you to wait 15 minutes. They tell you to wait 15 minutes after the thing. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, this is a perfect excuse to just look at your phone and totally jack off on social media because you got 15 minutes to kill. So this is the perfect excuse to do it without guilt. So I'm 2 minutes into that, and the lady sits down and asks me if I need any water or anything. And no, thank you very much. I'm good. Blah, 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 blah. And I see on her name tag, her name is Sherry, and she is the concierge of the COVID vaccination site waiting center. This is at a CVS. And of course, they put the vaccines in the back of the CVS so you buy other stuff. That's probably not why. That's where the pharmacy is, you idiot. It's not like they planned this years ago. It's a conspiracy, man. The lady sits down, and I'm sitting down to wait. I told her, she said, you get your first shot or second? I said, I just got my second. And she said, okay, well, the vaccination to fully take effect, it takes about 2 weeks. And I said, you mean I got to sit here for 2 weeks? And the guy next to me starts laughing. Like, all right. She just kept talking, went right over her head, and blah, 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 and then talked about flights, and she has to fly to Pittsburgh or something, and she just wanted me to tell me the most boring details of her life, which to her would be the most interesting details of her life. But so she did that for the entire 15 minutes. And then she showed me where I can get a little slip. It's not laminated, but it's like a little plastic slip to protect your vaccination card. And you got to pay for the damn thing. Got to pay $199 or $216 with tax. So this is really a scam by big protective cover industries to get your vaccination card. Okay, folks, want to talk about NXT? We're going to anyway. We are going to anyway. We have a Hulk Hogan slams onto the Giant. We have a three-way up top with Pete Dunne and Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly, who entered the ring in that order for the NXT #1 contendership for the right to wrestle Karrion Kross at the In Your House. Okay. Kyle O'Reilly, if you didn't watch the TV every week, you wouldn't know that he was the babyface here. You would not know he's the good guy in the situation. Because it's so hard with these three ways, and these guys are three of the best, so they're going to do as best as they can, and Kyle did everything he could to fight from underneath. Not really fighting from underneath as an underdog, but more underneath because there's two heels and one babyface. So they all did a good job of that. I'm a huge Pete Dunne fan, but it pains me to say the match would actually be better with just Kyle versus Gargano. So we have a clear baby face and a clear heel. Like, a clear heel. We just want to see Gargano get the shit kicked out of him. And maybe through some fuckery. I said last week, I was wrong. I said Gargano would win the thing. And they'd finish the Gargano cross thing. I may not be out of the woods on that one yet, but I guess they gotta have as much Gargano as possible. The three of them have a match, and they do their cute little spots, and it's okay. Thankfully, it wasn't too long. The opening segment itself took like half an hour, 40 minutes, because one segment bled into another, which is interesting. They don't do that often. Just don't do it every week. Otherwise, it was cool. So Adam Cole shows up, super kicks and chairs, and beats up the three of them as they're all laying down. Adam Cole does a great job of being a dickish heel and not being a cool heel. But it really doesn't help when your knucklehead idiots, wrestling students, and wrestlers' friends at ringside cheer and chant for Adam Cole as he's running in, taking a chair to three wrestlers, including a babyface. Like, I mean, I hate canned responses and the audience being told how to cheer or the audience having their mics shut down or shit piped over them. But also, in this case, if the audience isn't really an audience, we know it's kind of a fixed audience anyway. Maybe tell them what pro wrestling is first, instead of just. And you'll cheer that they're cheering Pete Dunne's offense. Why? You have the opportunity to have these people make non-piped in realistic noises, or to a degree anyway. Nobody's smartened them up, or no one's, because they've been doing this every week for like a year, so like no one's yelled at them yet. Like, it's not like they're always pretty spot on, and then this one group of knuckleheads screws it up. I think they did excess for the takeovers. Like, they've actually inadvertently hijacked the thing too. Those knuckleheads on the outside, they're banging on the plexiglass way too much. That War Games in October, I think they overdid. Oh my god, it was so distracting. I hope someone yelled at them, but the hell do I know? So William Regal runs out and he's very upset with Adam Cole for ruining the match because the match is thrown out. The announcers tell us the match is no D. It's a good thing there's no DQ, says Wade Barrett when Cole's laying everyone out, and the referee stops the match. So I get it. Some signals got crossed here on this thing, but so as Adam Cole's being kicked out by two security guards and William Regal, Ember Moon angrily storms to the ring and decides this is her time to shine. This is Ember Moon's opportunity. Because I guess last week Raquel Gonzalez beat up Sloppy Blackheart from Gremlins 2. And Ember Moon says, Raquel, get your big ass out here, which is body shaming. Okay? Everyone's saying, hey, listen, you want to be woke. Rules got to apply to everyone. Can't do that. And who is Ember Moon calling out for having a giant ass? I think all their asses are fine. I don't have a problem with any of their asses. I'm just saying. Like, especially when the women, why are any of the women calling out body parts of the other women? I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it. Stay woke. So Dakota attacks Ember Moon from behind because Ember Moon is very stupid. The announcers at this point tell us that twice that this was the master plan. This was Dakota and Raquel set up Ember Moon, which is impossible if by this story that you presented on TV, Ember Moon charged out to the ring on her own to sporadically challenge Raquel Gonzalez. So why would they have it planned that Raquel and Dakota are on opposite sides of the building, knowing Ember Moon was going to randomly charge the ring after a three-way match for the men's championship? Why would the two heels know that? So that doesn't make any sense. But they told us twice. So if they said it once, I would have let it go. But like, they didn't think it through. But no, they insisted. Ember Moon at one point claimed before Dakota attacked her that she was taken to show hostage and she'd stay in a ring all night if she had to. Who do you think you are? You think they can't move you? Jesus. Then Dakota kicks her. No one can get me out of this ring. And Dakota, who's half her size, kicks her out of the ring. Baby faces, it's still up to you to try not to make yourself look stupid. I know it's hard with the writing they give you and everything else, but protect yourself a little bit here. You're about to get thrown out of the ring. Don't say no one can get you out of the ring. And this sets up Dakota versus Ember for next week, and I'm assuming Ember versus Gonzalez for the blah blah blah, whatever the takeover is. And I think I said a while. Okay, Raquel's going to go through each of the Legion of gimmicks before like a babyface contender comes along. What was my original point? I don't know. They beat her up. Then we go backstage. Escobar and his two friends, the Evil Lucha guys, are cutting a promo. They're gonna challenge the tag team champions, the Memorial Sloan Kettering Midget Street Crew later on. And then Oni Lorcan is backstage and he's telling people to get the camera away from Pete Dunne, who's being attended to, and Austin Theory gets into an argument with Oni Lorcan, and they're both arguing which one of their unofficial heel mentors should have won the thing. So maybe those two will have a heel match, and why would we care who wins it and over what are they fighting for? I don't know. Too heavy match. Adam Cole cuts a fantastic promo as he always tends to do. He's so great at being a dick, and they didn't even boo him this time either. Like no one said, "Hey, when he comes back out, boo him this time." No one thought. Nobody listens to Bob. I'm a fully vaccinated human being, and nobody listens to Bob. They're not listening to me, Mark. Why aren't they listening to me? Gee, Bob, I wonder why the numbers never grow. You like to directly talk to two guys. I think it's funny. I don't care. I enjoy it. I hope you do too. Okay. So Adam Cole is interrupted, of course, by Scarlett and the other guy, and then my underwear moved, and Karrion Kross is angry at Cole, and Kross did a good job of looking realistically pissed off in this. But then, of course, Regal comes out to tell him to separate or whatever. And hey, you're not going to cheat your way or politic your way into a title shot at Adam Cole. And Kross, again, baby faces. Someone wrote this for him clearly to set this match up, but why would Kross logically do this to himself? He says, hey, Regal, I don't want to just wrestle Adam Cole. I want to wrestle the four of them in a fatal five-way thing. So you can only have a 20% chance of keeping your own title? Why would any champion, heel or face, suggest a match where they can lose the match without losing a match, lose the title without losing a match? Now, a babyface may accept the mission in stride, yes. Like Drew McIntyre's had to do plenty times. You could accept the bad situation, the bad odds of the triple threat, four ways and five-way in this case, or the handicap match, which Drew did a million of those against all sorts of people in the last year. You could accept the shitty odds, but why would you make the challenge as impossible for yourself, especially to keep your title? Like Drew, they had Drew make some challenges for differently abled adults matches against Miz and Morrison a few times, I think, but was he putting his title up for grabs or not? No, he just hated them. But this is the babyface champion who's looking dumb, who's making himself look dumb by going, hey, I got an idea. Let's have it so that I can be beating up two guys, and then another two guys beat each other, and I lose my title. I don't get it. Maybe, if not Kross retaining, which is probably the result, maybe Cole wins it. None of the other three should be winning it in this match. Wouldn't make any sense. Kyle needs his one-on-one big moments if he's going to be the top babyface of this, and if Finn's taking a breather for a second. Kyle already beat Cole, so I mean that's kind of like, why would they? Nah. Maybe he needed it though. I don't know. Gargano, oh God help me, please don't. And Pete Dunne is just the guy. He's there to have the great match so you can beat him, unfortunately, but that's what it is. Adam Cole jumps on the announcer's desk and messes things up. and he throws a bottle of water at Cross and Scarlet. Then we have a little vignette from a guy named Carmelo Hayes. I'm supposed to care about Carmelo Hayes. I don't. I don't know if he's a heel or a babyface. I just heard him talk for a minute. He said he was really good and he has confidence. Well, congratulations, Carmelo Hayes. And Carmelo Hayes wrestles. Well, that was quick. I didn't have to wait long. He wrestles Kushida. And Hayes does a bunch of cool athletic things, I guess, with no personality and the flashy kick pads and the cool indie guy tights, and Kushida beats him in a submission. Match gets 41 stars. The three-way gets 42 stars, by the way. Don't question my math. And then they shake hands. So I guess Hayes is a babyface. I saw an entire promo by the guy, or a 1 minute vignette of him talking. It's not technically a promo. It's cut up because now we live in a YouTube society where no one can talk for more than a minute without remembering what the hell they're supposed to say. But so I saw the guy talk for a minute. I watched him wrestle a 10-minute match. I didn't know if he was a heel or face after both those things until Kushida had to tell me this guy was a babyface. Very good. Congratulations. MSK cuts a fake promo. Ember Moon cuts a fake promo. And next week, Poppy returns. She's like the Bad Bunny of this show. She's a singer. And it looks like on Twitter, maybe they're just messing around. It looks like they're setting something up with Candice LeRae and Poppy. Maybe Poppy's going to wrestle. I bet you that'll happen. Poppy will wrestle Candice LeRae, or Poppy and someone versus Candice and Indy. Maybe Poppy and Bad Bunny will become the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. I'll be fine with that. Then Poppy's really Gwen Stefaniing the shit out of that band, huh? Anyway, we have a main event, the Tag Team Championships. Midget Street Crew versus the Evil Lucha guys. Grizzled Young Veterans walk out and get beat up by Ciampa and Thatcher. Escobar tries to interfere, and he does. He throws Wes Lee into the steps. Bronson Reed, who is angry at Escobar from last week's attack or whatever. So, because Escobar is going to defend his North American thing against... Escobar is going to challenge Bronson Reed for the North American thing for a bit. So Bronson smashes Escobar against the plexiglass outside. Memorial Sloan Kettering defeat the Luchas in their indie-rific match. For the 1-2-3 match gets negative 501 stars. Don't question the system. Not a bad episode. Lousy main event, but what a hell of a first half. Not on this episode of the Hulu edition. LA Knight loses to Jay Gallus. You heard that. LA Knight loses to Jay Gallus, the guy who last week was in a thing with DiBiase and hitting his move on Grimes. Now somehow Grimes and Ted DiBiase, they only show the end on YouTube. They helped, or Grimes distracted LA Knight, and somehow Jay Gallus pins him with his very athletic, is very impressive. Excuse me, burping up KFC here, guys. Had a day, you know. Jay Gallus does a thing with he cartwheels. He's on the top turnbuckle and he cartwheels with the rope and DDT's the guy, and it's very pretty and fake as fuck. And LA Knight lost to it, and it makes me sick. So here's the underlying thing. It is Pride Month. June is Pride Month. I don't know if that's worldwide. It's here in the States. So we're the LGBTQ community. It is Pride Month. You'll see various superstars, whether they are LGBTQ or not. Many of them will either put something on their gear or their social media filters or what have you. I'm imagining there's some merch sold with the pride or the rainbow colors on it. And this is all well and good. Yes, there should be I have no problem. There should be a Pride Month. I have a Finn Balor Pride T-shirt of my own. How about that? I own one of those. And I meant to wear it to Madison Square Garden, but then the show got canceled because everybody had a disease. Anyway, Jay Gallus should never be beating LA Knight. Jay Gallus, I don't think he's that great. And he could have beaten Austin Theory. He could have beaten Oni Lorcan. He could have beaten one of the Evil Luchas. He could have beaten Isaiah Swerve Scott. Who am I leaving out? That's like 3 or 4 or 5 guys right there, right? He could have beaten anybody on a roster. They could have just picked someone they were barely using. He could have beaten one of the Everrise guys. Him and someone else could have beat the Everrise guy. I don't know. He could have beat one of the grizzled young veterans. If Danny Burch wasn't injured, he could have beat him. He could have beat plenty of people. So they want to give him the win on the thing. I do not believe for 1 second WWE gives a flying fuck about Pride Month, and here's why. When have we ever seen the video package up top? We see them for Memorial Day. We see them for Veterans Day. We see them all the time in February for Black History Month and Martin Luther King's Day in January. And this is all fine and good. I think it feels it adds a little bit of a sense of community to the show, if you will. And this is fine. But they never do the Pride one. And again, Pride Month has only been going on a few years, but it's not like they're not aware. The announcers, of course, yes, they have to talk about Grimes and Ted DiBiase and LA Knight, but no one says, hey, what a touching victory for Jake Atlas, and it just happens to be Pride Month. No one says that. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because WWE, in this case, wants both hands in a cookie jar. Because if they full out commit and have a Pride color WWE shirt, or if they do that to their social media for the month or whatever the hell, or someone other than Sonya for fucks like wearing the Pride colors on the show regularly, then if they commit to that, then they're dividing the audience. Now, Black History Month's been around a much longer time. Martin Luther King Day, obviously, much longer time. So it's pretty much universal that only a very small vocal and psychotic part of the audience is going to get really mad at them for, why I don't like how they have Black History Month. Well, you should reevaluate a lot of things in your life. But Pride Month is newer. So if you need to give Jake Atlas a political win on the show, okay, you could have used someone else who's not going to be a big star like LA Knight. Am I mad that my favorite guy lost? Well, a little bit, I guess. But if they really cared, wouldn't there be a package up top? Like, not just half-assing it, like, oh, we'll have Jake Atlas win, and look how good we are. It's Pride Month, unless you don't like Pride Month or you don't care. Then Jake Atlas just won a match. See how they're double dipping in both sides here? That's why I don't trust them. This is not an anti-Pride rant. This is an I don't trust you WWE rant, especially today of all days. I'm not very trustworthy of them right now. Wouldn't there be a package up top? If you cared, if you actually did. Never mind giving the LGBTQ superstars magical powers for a month to win matches and then you forget about them in July. Because that's obvious and insulting. And that's ultimately what they're probably going to do. But instead, wouldn't it be better just to go about your business, but then have like maybe a package for a few of the first shows in June? And fucking thank Pat Patterson. How about that? Do that if you really care. Have a thing. WWE honors the blah 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 Pride Month, and then at the end there's a half faded in. I almost said transition, but it'd be a bad choice of words in this case. But like a crossfade of like the Pride flag with Pat Patterson or something like that. You don't have to say his name. Just something. You could do that. Not just, hey, we're gonna remind everyone how fake everything is. I guess we're well past that. And we're gonna have Jake Atlas win a match. And we'll point to it when it's convenient when we send him out to do press. But on the actual show, we won't mention it so as not to anger half the audience, which might be homophobic. So, pick one. But you're never going to do that. WWE, I hate you this week. I hate you a lot. So we had another pile of releases today. Every April, we have a big pile, but now this is an excess. You already know the news. I'm not a journalist, a wrestling inside guy. You already know. It's Strowman, who I'm going to stop calling stupid goddamn Braun Strowman. I'm going to let that nickname retire. Might as well, because he's not Braun Strowman. It's really not the time anymore. But it's Braun Strowman. It's Santana Garrett of NXT. Aleister Black, who just started a major thing with Big E, which really just makes Big E look dumber than anything else. Black, Santana, Braun, Ruby Riott, that sucks. I just watched a clip of her and Liv losing to an Italian Tamina over the weekend at SmackDown. I was watching these little things Ruby was doing as she was selling. I'm like, oh, geez, she's so good. Do something with it. And then, oh, they did. They fired her. Okay. So that sucks. And apparently a lot of the women thought very highly of her and her as a person, too, which just makes it like, I don't think the green stuff is her best look, by the way. You know. Is she single? I'm vaccinated. But I don't know if the green is the, well, whatever. She do whatever she wants. Who else was there? Buddy Murphy. Another stop and start go who tried as hard as he could to make chicken salad out of all the chicken shit they gave him. I don't know who I'm missing. I got Murphy, Riott, Santana, Braun, Aleister. That's 5. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer. Could look it up. I'm not gonna look it up. Point is, they're doing this again, and now the theory, the rumors are starting to circulate. Of course, well, this is the sign of a company that's about to sell. So okay, let's say they do. So ESPN is owned by Disney now, is that correct? Okay, so let's say ESPN buys them, so essentially Disney. All right. So then after however long the Peacock deal is, let's say hypothetically our network, WWE Network, goes on Disney Plus. Well, okay. I guarantee you it's going to be, forget the library, it's going to be nothing that didn't happen in the last year. I can't imagine another company like Disney or NBC or whatever. I can't imagine another company going along with this free pay-per-view thing they've been doing. And so it's going to be over. Wrestling's going to be over. Then you just got AEW. And I know there's ROH and there's NWA, and at some point, there's got to be a limit to how many people AEW can hire. At some point, Tony Khan's money's going to, oh, maybe not. Then what's that show going to look like? They clearly don't want stars anymore. I think this has been apparent in the last several years. We're at a point now where the business model changed so that a star that draws tickets to a building doesn't apply anymore. What sells is rights to brands and video libraries, and you don't need stars for that. I mean, how many years has everyone with a podcast and a Twitter account said the same thing? It's the brand that sells, it's not the star. Like John Cena might have been like the last star. No offense to Roman Reigns, who kind of should have been, but pro wrestling's gonna die. It's gonna die. What's gonna happen? Do you think? I mean, NBC had to have their arm twisted to carry so many of those old libraries. And I don't know, are the territories? If you're out there with Peacock, I'll check later. I should have checked before. Is there Smoky Mountain, AWA, NWA? I know there's some WCW and some ECW on Peacock, but all that stuff, the Florida, the Mid-South, the Crockett, etc., 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 all that stuff on there. I can't believe Peacock, if they are carrying it, I'm very surprised. But would it even be advantageous to carry those? If you're Disney, why would you bother? Why would you bother paying someone to sit through 17,000 hours of old stuff only to find 12 seconds of each thing isn't unacceptable by today's standards and not use any of it? But they're still going to want to own the rights to that library and just do nothing with it. The thing everyone thought Vince was going to do with WCW, just buy it and kill it. Well, not really. He bought it and used the library to sell DVDs, but he killed it otherwise. So, this is the end of pro wrestling. I've been watching since May of 1989. That's a good 31 years. It has dominated my life.
And maybe because I'll never quit it, maybe it needs to quit me. I kind of felt that way with comedy in 2020 and New York stand-up comedy in 2020. Like, I'll never walk away. It needs to quit me. And then it quit. Really, like 95% of us, it quit us because we didn't have a choice. It has to be that way. You have that job that you really hate, but it's steady, so you really don't want to quit it. And then one day it quits you, and you go, all right, well, that was the only way that was going to happen. Or that relationship that's not bad. It's not toxic. I hate that word now. It's not toxic, but it's an okay relationship. It still has hope. There's no point in ending it. And then one day it ends you. You go, okay, because I wasn't going to walk away. That's the way it has to be. Pro wrestling needs to quit Bob. Just like when I was a wrestler, like you don't really quit. I didn't quit pro wrestling. My body quit pro wrestling. Nature quit me. I didn't quit it. I'd still be going if I can go. I clearly can't go. And I'm under the feeling that pro wrestling is, by the time 2022 rolls around, or sometime in, I have a feeling, let's put it this way, I think 12 months from now, it's going to be radically different in a way that none of us can imagine. Who knows? Maybe the apron will be really soft, and the middle part where you bump people will be the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da.